Big 12 Sound Roundup.
Check 1, 2.
The best bites, cheap shots, and excuses from Saturday's post-game news conferences.
All right, everybody, welcome back. It is another edition of a Sunday morning Big 12, First and 12. The biggest breakdown of the conference where Utah and BYU now are both members. And we'll get into some Utah next hour. The next hour, we're also going to roll out our power poll for the week. So you're going to get a full breakdown of that Utah-Baylor game, a power poll, and Mitch and I are just going to, we're just going to log it in the books as another Big 12 weekend. I mean, you know how it is, Mitch. When we get into the actual season here, these weeks start to just pile on very, very quickly. So you'll blink, and they'll be a month in. You'll blink, and they'll have 10 games under their belt. And so it goes very, very quickly. All of this, by the way, brought to you by the folks at the Macy's grocery store. You know about these guys. Happy shopping. Got to take advantage of it. Get that con cone. Let's go. Mitch, Sound Roundup. Here's how it goes. And you already heard from Kalani. We'll hear from Kyle next hour, but these are some of the other ones that happened across the conference. Now, this point last year, I don't know. I can't remember when the loss to when was the loss to Southern Alabama that Oklahoma State had at home? Was it week 2, week 3? It was early in the season, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was like week 3.
Either way, we were wondering about this Oklahoma team or Oklahoma State team. Mike Gundy, they eke out a win in overtime. And it was a classic Mike Gundy moment at the dais there after the game. Here's what he had to say about Oklahoma State.
You know, the one thing is, you guys that cover us, you come here, you're always going to see a good game. That's one thing. You get your money's worth here. We're sold out, and I think people, they know they're going to see a good game here. It's a lot of fun here. Unfortunately, it's hard on coaches. There were so many things in that game. As I shared with the players, there'll be a lot of really good teaching and coaching, not only for the players but for the coaches. There's just a lot of things that happened in that game that were very unusual. But as you said, you're correct that college football, that's why people love to watch it. Every game matters.
That's so Mike Gundy because, one, Oklahoma State, they do put out thrilling games. They're either, one, they're going to be down big and then they're going to have an epic comeback as they did on Saturday against Arkansas, down 14-0. And the question, too, that he got was, it was some paraphrasing here, but he got the question of, is this just kind of dang fun, just having these epic comebacks? And he says, well, you're always going to get a good game at Oklahoma State.
Yeah,
so.
But he also sounds a little bit like a mob boss too, where he goes, we're gonna watch some video and. Well, there's going to be some people are going to be called out here, players and coaches. Like, everybody heard that press conference, like coaches, the whole staff, coaches, players, everybody's scared to death of Mike Gundy.
You wonder, too, if Mike Gundy does these things in press conferences where he kind of just, improvises almost, and in a way to, like, get the Oklahoma State brand out there.
Oh, yeah.
You almost kind of wonder if – he's doing this in a way to always just generate headlines. And I'm sure his SID just wants to pull his hair out all the time with Gundy. But he just always gets on the national scene with his commentary. He's just one of those coaches at Big 12 Media Day where it's like, what's he going to say? And he's one of those few people that's got that pull. And he just says kind of interesting things that are off the cuff sometimes. He'll walk away from the podium. It's like, hey, get close to that mic. I can't hear that sound.
Right.
But, Gundy, he does put out entertaining ball games at Oklahoma State, that's for sure. Iowa State had an entertaining win, and Matt Campbell's kind of the complete opposite of Gundy when it comes to personality. He's just like a football guy, Campbell is. But, man, the emotion of winning in Kinnick Stadium, a place they haven't won in a very long time, that meant a lot to him.
It's a unique football game, and it takes everything you got to win a game like this. And, you have to have great leadership, and you got to have great leadership from within. Today was about our leadership, quite honestly. Our kids' poise was probably better than their head coach's poise at times. Our kids' poise and mentality to just stay in there and keep playing was incredible. And, that's one great thing about coaching is sometimes you learn from your players. And if you're humble enough to do it. And I've been really fortunate enough to learn a lot from our guys, but really grateful for them, really appreciate their effort. A lot of credit to Iowa. Coach Ferentz and his program is nothing short of exceptional. So a lot of respect for who they are, and that's why it is a big win to come here and win a game on the road like that.
It is. It's like a punch card. It's like a coach's Mad Lib, right? Where you go, throw in respect to, fill in coach's name here. Now, obviously, he means it because Kirk Ferentz is one of the best in the game. But Matt Campbell is a guy who's has said on record, I want to copy our program off of Utah and Kyle Whittingham. Mm-hmm. And if you go through that kind of prism, you can hear him going through and just being very, very meticulous about kind of the breakdowns. Honestly, when they were losing, I thought, oh, boy, okay, Iowa State's going to struggle this first, or, against Iowa. Fine, they're going to have to get back on track here. But, we talked about this in the offseason, Mitch. Iowa State could be really scary, man. Coach Prime, it wouldn't be a sound roundup without getting something from Coach Prime. The Nebraska-Colorado former Big 8, matchup between these two teams. I've not been a big fan of the fact that they try to roll this one out like it's still a rivalry game. But don't tell that to Nebraska fans. When they had a big lead, I will say Colorado is an interesting study because they were down 28-3, I think, at the half, and they were still standing over guys after tackles like they were owning this entire game, Mitch. I was like, this is nothing more Colorado than losing by 4 touchdowns and standing over a guy after you tackle him. And it was funny because the Nebraska guys were just laughing. They're like, you see what's going on up on the scoreboard up here? But, yeah, here's what Coach Prime had to say, his reaction to that loss 28-10 there at Nebraska.
That was the whole post-game, not speech, but conversation that we had. I can't wait. Everybody in this room is dealing with some type of adversity, and our young men are as well. So I want to see how we all respond to adversity. That's what illuminates us. That's what elevates us. That's what progresses us to the next level, how we deal with adversity. Everybody's got a piece of adversity they're dealing with right now, and those young men just dealt with it in front of millions of people. So we got to see how they handle it.
I don't care what anyone says. I love listening to Coach Prime. I love his commentary. But you're right. The hovering over players, come on. I mean, Colorado got destroyed in that first half, and their O-line not protecting Shedeur. And you know what? Shedeur didn't have a great game either. He had a pick 6. So, Colorado has got to get some answers quick. It's not going to get any easier. They got a rivalry game coming up, and we'll get to what's the schedule ahead in the Big 12. Kansas State had a tough outing at Tulane. They escaped with a victory. Star quarterback Avery Johnson, not the greatest day passing the football. He's got to improve in that area if K-State's going to be the Big 12 champ that they aspire to be once again, try to get that second title in 3 years. This was Johnson on where he's made the biggest improvement in his game from week 1 to week 2 after that victory over Tulane.
Just being able to battle through adversity. I feel like this is my first time, especially being down in a game, especially being on the road. It's harder to be down on the road. So we had to make our own momentum shifts, and the defense did a great job of getting us the ball back and stopping their offense. And then it was just kind of up to us to get us back into the fight. We were playing from behind, and we had some guys step up and make some big plays tonight, and that's just what we needed.
That's one of those guys, Mitch, that everybody's waiting for him to take that next step. He definitely got better this week. And, there are games like this. Look, you get a win and you scrape by, doesn't matter. I mean, K-State could also win a game next week 45-3, and you'd be like, yep, that's exactly what you're going to get from them. But if they also win a rock fight, which is kind of what they did, that's the type of thing that you have there. I think that's a little bit what Chris Kleiman's program is about. They don't really care what people think about them, and they'll get wins and just be like, yeah, maybe there's some mistakes there. We'll work on them, but that's still a team you got to be absolutely afraid of if you're other teams in the Big 12, including a BYU team who's going to have to host them down there in Provo. All right, let's take another break here. We'll come back next hour. Oh, boy, it's another week of power rankings, Mitch, and some movers and shakers. Some people are going to stay right in the same spot, but there's going to be some movement there at the top. We'll talk about it next and much more to go. It is KSL News Radio. It is the KSL Sports Zone, and this is First and 12.